Okay, this is Professor Coles. This is part 2 of using Matlab to generate the file needed by OpenFOAM for building a mesh. So in part 1 I just used Matlab on my local machine, and then I showed you the actual mesh that's generated by OpenFOAM, so you can sort of see what the end game is of this process. In this tutorial I'm going to use the virtual computing lab, so if you have access to Matlab, use that access to Matlab. If you do not have access to Matlab, then use the virtual computing lab on campus. It's a little bit frustrating to use, so don't use it unless you have to. I don't know what the web address is, so I always just type virtual computing lab UMass Dartmouth into Google. I'll put the link up on the my courses page. Now you go log into VCL. This is Windows or Mac. I'm going to do Mac here, and I may attempt a Windows demonstration too. Log into VCL, Virtual Computing Lab, and basically what this will do is there's a server on campus which can create instances of operating systems. So there might be an image of Windows that has Matlab. That's what we'll be using today. It might be a Linux image. And so it allows you to use these different operating systems with software properly licensed to sorry, I'll read my email. To do stuff. There you go. So we're going to log in. I might still have my session before. I'm going to create a new session. Hopefully it'll let me do that. Now, this is the session I want. So you can pick a bunch of them if you haven't used this before, and it sounds like you have based on our discussions in class, but I'll go through it anyway. You want to use Maple. You don't know what the COE is, College of Engineering. Is that what that is? Virtual Computer. Stata, I don't know what these things are. So anyway, we're going to use Matlab 2013A. It's a Windows image. Now I'm going to go create. I'm only allowed to have a single reservation. Okay, ignore this part where I do current reservations and end. Yes, I'm done, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I'm going back to new session. This is where you would start, and I say create. Building. Now it takes a while to build, so I should have explained the operating system part here. So essentially on campus it's building a mirror for me to use, a mirrored image. So it's building out Windows with the licenses, the Matlab license built in, and it will give me essentially a virtual machine that I'm going to have access through virtual desktop to be able to use on my desktop. So it's a virtual machine, so it's already slow. It's running over network, so it's already slow. So sometimes it can be clunky. It can give you warnings about latency problems, and it can crash. So we are dealing with Windows as well. So it's so don't get frustrated. I think they're still improving it as time goes on. So hopefully this will launch. There it goes. Alright, now I'm going to connect. Now what it's doing says ready to connect in 3 seconds. I don't know why. And it's going to download an RDP file. And that's remote desktop protocol. I'm going to say get RDP file. Downloads to my Mac, this RDP thing. And sometimes this may ask you to install something if you've never used it before. I'm not sure. But it's pretty, it's Windows software. It's safe. I open it. And it'll launch this. It says something about this warning. If you read the home page or the FAQ, actually it'll tell you to click right through this. So connect. Now I put in my password. This is my campus UMDAR password that I'm putting in here. And I can say OK. Give it a second. Sometimes it says that. I don't know why. Okay, so this window here is basically mirroring, or it's a virtual desktop from my virtual machine that I created, or that they created on campus for me. It's Windows 7 Professional, because professional people are often forced to use Windows in their professions. And then hopefully this will start up. Hello. And what I'm going to do is I have a Windows, so this is a Windows machine of some kind. And I'm going to start Matlab. Start Matlab. Now there's a network drive here. I don't use these network drives. I don't know what they are, and you may know what they are, and you may have a way of putting your your stuff into this network drive, including this Matlab code and getting out what it makes. I honestly don't know how to access that, so I'm not going to. This virtual machine has access to the drives on my Mac, including my desktop, so we're just going to do it that way. So I'm going to open, you can see that the Matlab interface looks different. This is a Windows version of Matlab. It would look different than the Matlab I did previous, but they're similar. So I'm going to open, browse for folder. Now, I have a bunch of drives, and my Mac is a little complicated because I have multiple operating systems here, so I have all these different disks, but I think it's going to be this one. It is. Okay, so I'm going to go to Users, and you'll have to find your way to wherever you put the file. Put it on my desktop, gcols desktop. Okay, so I'm going to select this folder. Now Matlab is in this folder. Okay, and you can see that it's put up here. See how slow it is. It's put up here the files that are in here. Some folders I have on my desktop. This file that we created from the local version of Matlab in the previous tutorial, and here's the code again. So I'm not actually going to have to change anything because I didn't change the code back, but I'm going to open it up to edit it. Double click. Scroll, scroll, scroll. So this is where the latency comes in. Hopefully it won't crash. Okay. So I'm here. Now I won't have to change anything, but this, when you would have opened yours, it might have said something other than 2412, NACA 2412. It might have said something other than the alpha that I asked for. So change it to those parameters. Don't mess with the core. Mess with alpha if I've asked you to, or the NACA foil shape if I've asked you to. Here I'm going to leave them as they are, but I could change them. Now I'm going to run it. Run. So it's running. Okay, and it generated the same thing that my local version of Matlab did. I could take a screenshot of this and turn it in. It generated this file over here. I'm going to throw it in the trash and regenerate it. So let me close the plot. I'm just going to rerun it, and you'll see that it generates the file. Even though this is running in the virtual computing lab, it can write to my disks, which is kind of scary actually, but I gave it permission to do that. So it's reading this file, running this file, Airfoil blockmesh.m, and writing this blockmesh file over here. And I'm going to save that. That's what I'm going to use for my OpenFOAM calculation in a later assignment. That's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to do. So I'll close Matlab, close the editor. I'm going to kill Matlab. Back to my Windows machine, and I'm actually not sure how to get out of this virtual computing lab. How do I end this? Maybe over here? I don't know. Maybe I go to current reservations and end. Let's do it that way. Yes, and it should kill this window over here. I'm just going to go ahead and kill it anyway. There we go. Disconnect. That's what I should have done. Just close the window, disconnect, done. And we're done with this tutorial.